Yay!
Hi, everybody. I'm here with my amazing friend, Sean Murphy. I'm in Texas, Dallas,
yay!
Texas, and it's a little cold. But this morning, I was able to talk to Sean, and he was sharing thoughts and ideas with me. And I said, Sean, I have so many friends who would love to hear about those things and to learn that knowledge as well. So I said, would you get with me today and we could do a Facebook Live? Hi, Gina. You're going to want to hear these things. And so again, this is my friend, amazing Sean Murphy. You'll probably have seen the little write-up I did about him. But every time I talk to him, I walk away feeling better about myself. And he'll share a few of those things with you as well. So Sean, over to you. We're getting everyone's jumping on, hearts and loves.
Hey, listen, everybody. First of all, let me say this to you. For all of the things that you've done, all of the things you're going to do, thank you for that. And for all those that will never get a chance to say thank you, thank you. So I have some of the most amazing people in the world who circle in my life and orbit in my energy, and Deni's one of them. And I saw she was coming to Dallas, and I said, I got to come get my hug. And we talked this morning, and we had this amazing exchange of energy. See, there is no information, there's only energy. And what happens is when you realize what you have in your hands, the ability to give this energy to others, you become fearless. Because I will tell you this, failure crushes fear.
Oh, you guys, write that down.
No, don't say that. Failure crushes fear. We stand on stage and we see these 3%ers stand up there, the 1%ers stand up and go, if I can do it, you can do it. No, I can't. Because the reason they got through it was because something drove them, pulled them, and they had we say it all the time, when your why is bigger than your how.
Right.
The challenge is the word why. When's the last time your parents used the word why with you? It's when you were in trouble. So every word has a vibration, and when we talk about our why, it's something we don't have, but we can only relate it to the times we fail.
But when I got in trouble, I would actually say, but why? Why do I have to do that?
So, and again, it comes to our programming.
Right.
So right now, you're in a position where you're saying, I want to be in control of my life. Yeah. If that's the case, throw some thumbs up. Here's why.
I do.
If you throw some thumbs up, kinesthetically, you're saying you're in charge. All too often, we write down goals in this vacuum. We write them down and we go, I'm going to just write them down and I'm going to sit in my office and I'm going to really get involved. It can't happen. Goal setting is dynamic in nature.
It is.
It requires a team, which is why this industry works by default. And I'm saying that Noah St. John in one of his books said, we're going to crush some of the sacred cows of personal development. Network marketing works by default. If it worked by reason, everybody who joined would be successful.
That's true.
Right?
That's right.
Right? Because the company always works. The comp plan always works. The team, the leadership always works, and they're working for you. So by default, it should work. It's when we put our personality in, we put ego in, edging God out. When we put that in place, we wind up with some challenges. So one thing, write down for those of you who just joined us, failure crushes fear. Now, how do we acclimate to that, right? You're down here now. When you left, where? Washington, Colorado, where?
Left Spokane, Washington yesterday.
What was the temperature?
Warmer than it is here, but it was, I thought I was going to come to sunny Dallas. It wasn't, but I'm happy to be here.
So we all acclimate. The reality is that when our environment challenges us, we address it. We habitualize to it.
That's right.
So there's water fountain behind us. Now that I just said it, you probably hear it. If you were focusing, you didn't hear it. But now we're going to go back to conversation. It's going to disappear because we don't have to recognize it. So when we set a goal, the only thing we can work from when we talk about setting a goal is if you ever remind yourself of something, the mind is past.
That's right.
It's never future.
That's right.
Now, you can fool it to the future. You can regret something so emotionally that it's totally real. But if you ever work out of the mind, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about in his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. If you are in mind, you're in past.
That's right.
So when you set a goal that says, I'm going to be a millionaire, the first thing your brain says is you're lying.
Because you're not,
Because you're not. Because you're not already. So one of the things Noah St. John says is change the question.
Ask better questions, right?
Change it to why am I 30 pounds lighter? Why am I successful? See, because the brain is operating on routine. It can only operate on routine.
Okay.
You got dressed this morning, you pulled out your makeup bag, and you did all of this stuff. Very light makeup. This is all natural beauty, I promise you. But we get out of bed the same way. We walk to the bathroom the same way. We go to someplace. We do things in routine. The brain wants a routine. So when you write down something that's not routine, the brain searches for the answer. So if you start asking better questions, why did I just break the next rank in my business? The brain has to now go, why did you? Well, maybe you talk to more people. I did talk. Why do I like talking to more people?
Right.
And all of a sudden, the failure goes away because rejection isn't what they say, it's what we say.
I agree. Now, you guys, you've already taken away two things, right? Number one?
Failure crushes fear.
Great.
And rejection is from inside, not outside.
Lovely. And the next one?
So the third thing is when you decide that enough is enough. See, there's 2 days in your life that you're going to make a change. It's the day you've had enough.
That's right.
Now, it's either handed to you, car accident, heart attack, smoking, bankrupt, all of these things. When we look at these top 3 leaders, the reason failure crushed fear for them is because they were in a day that had enough. The challenge is our life is too comfortable.
I agree.
And in that comfort, we never have enough. So as many leadership seminars as we go to and as many books as we buy and Facebook Lives as we attend, thank you, by the way.
You guys, if you're liking this, please share it. I think so many of your friends will enjoy this valuable information.
And here's the thing, it's not for me, it's not for Deni, it's because you're going to be a hero in somebody else's life. Deni asked me to show up, I showed up. You showed up. Now you get to show up in somebody else's life. Realize this isn't about you being a public speaker or you being all this. This is about you caring for people. That's why this works. MLM. What? Multi-level? No. MLM stands for Me Loving More.
My favorite. Don't you guys love that?
MLM, Me Loving More.
You know, and that's exactly how I feel. I never knew before network marketing that I could love so many people so much. And network marketing, to me, it shrinks the world and expands your heart in a way that I never knew was possible.
And the challenge is that the reason some people have a challenge, right, is because their rejection keeps them from loving themselves first. That's right? If people, there's a product with a redox molecule, pretty amazing product.
I think so.
I think
you guys like that?
The redox molecule, isn't that awesome? Virtus is amazing. I've had lunch with this gentleman. He's absolutely...
In the beginning, you guys.
His desire to help, his son's desire to help, it's by default, it works. Yeah. They love you. He gets on stage and talks about the story of him and his bride, and his son talks about him and his bride, and these people love you. Why would you ever fail at it? Why would you ever fall short of anything you ever wanted? It's time for you to step up, step out, step in, and get rid of ego. Ego stands for edging God out. You need to take your life to the next...
Okay, go back. Let them write that one down.
Okay.
Step out.
Step out, step up, step in.
Love it. You guys write that one down.
Step out. Fear. You don't have to be fearful. I shouldn't say that. You will be fearful.
Yes,
know that there's a click away, a phone call away. There's somebody in your organization that you go, just tell me you love me. Just tell me you like me. See, when I'm having doubt, and we all do.
We do.
I call Deni. Now, it may seem selfish, but it is. But I'm doing this to be self-full. Because I know I can't take anything away from Deni. If I took an hour of her time, I got 60 minutes. But I didn't take away. We have this mutual responsibility to the world that she has to go and have more when she leaves this conversation. I have to have more when I leave this conversation. I got to ask you, every conversation you've ever been in with Deni, didn't you feel better? Click some hearts if you felt better. Click some likes if you felt better. Type in the comments, I love being with Deni. Now, I'm doing this. She doesn't want me to do this, but this is what we do. We not promote, we present each other. You know what I'm saying? I could talk all day. I love this.
We had so much fun. So you guys, I loved the Me Loving More. I wish I brought my notes. I was taking copious notes this morning. Just so we were actually having a phone call at 6 a.m. here because I was on his time. And so again, I always every time I hang up the phone with him, my step is lighter, I feel better. And talk to them about even what you told me this morning about how that's your mission every day.
So if we all talk about a mission statement, and the challenge is most companies have two. They have a mission and a vision. The challenge is nobody can repeat it. I sit with CEOs of corporations, both in our industry and out of our industry, and I say, what's your mission? And then I call customer service and I ask them to repeat the company's mission statement, and they can't. It hasn't made it 50 feet down the hallway. So your mission statement needs to last 600 generations. Now, I don't know how long you want your message to last. Here's mine.
And this is his own personal.
This is my
family,
personal. To be a better dad, better husband. Period. Everything I do. Well, how is sitting with Deni here when I could be home with my bride who's off today? Because my goal in life to be
She is?
My goal in life is to be a better dad and a better husband. Better husband is making sure that every mom has joy and happiness for their children. So by saying that, I'm here with Deni because my goal is to put more smiles in your world. Because I promise you this, there's a smile that you're going to share, that you're going to share. In the next 30 days will show back up in my family's life.
I love that.
See, I'm very clear. I'm very self-full. I'm very selfish with what I do. I will give it to you as long as you share it. Otherwise, there's no reason for us to have this conversation. So decide what your mission statement is. When somebody says, why are you in business? You can answer, to do very well. Why do you ask? My goal, how does that work? Very well. Why do you ask? Stop trying to be the how. Let Google they can how themselves to death. Let Google be that how. They can't Google you. Deni can't be me. I can't be Deni. But together,
we can be so much
we
more.
can be so much more. And it has nothing to do with the business we're in, because we're all in the business of human business.
Oh, that's right. And connecting, right?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about something here, so build deeper relationships. Here's the thing, what's your word for the year? My word is daily. Last year was deeper. I'm on a small talk diet. If you ever ask anybody how's the weather, or isn't that some amazing weather we're having, you've just wasted syllables of connection. Right? If I say up, you say down. I say in, you say out. We're all programmed. We're all living this binary world of monologue. Emerson said the most difficult thing for anybody to do is have a conversation, and the problem is most people think they have one. So find something beautiful about somebody. If you see somebody with a great handbag, say, I love your handbag. Don't be afraid.
I love doing that.
Isn't that cool? Well, see, there's a clue. Jim Rohn said that would be a clue.
Grab your coat. You got to see the coat that he showed up in. Oh my gosh, look at this. Fringe and everything. It's amazing. You guys, and certainly step out of your comfort zone. Again, compliment people on those things. I think it's so important. And I'm all about making friends, right? And that's a really great step how to do it. I love people, and everyone has a story. And I think that's the part that I'm so addicted to is the stories.
Well, and the key, then it requires us active listening. See, Deni, this is really the first time we've ever sat down.
It really is. We just met each other face-to-face last June at the Association of Network Marketing Professionals.
For all of 20 minutes.
Probably right. And the rest of our relationship has been phone calls and Facebook Messenger and texts on the phone.
So who says you can't build a three-dimensional relationship in a two-dimensional world?
Yeah.
Understand, if you stand out, you will be outstanding.
Oh, you guys write that down. Say it again.
If you will stand out, you will be outstanding. Go love people. Don't worry about what they do or how just go love them on their Facebook. Appreciate them. Don't click like, click hearts. Oh my gosh.
I like the hearts.
I know there's it's hard for me to click
like. I want
like.
double hearts.
I do.
Triple hearts.
I want a big one that pulses.
Yeah, I agree.
But be the person you are dying to be inside. The person you woke up this morning is greater than the person you are now.
Say that again.
The person that woke up this morning is greater than the person you are now because your dreams were still alive.
I love that.
Folks, you deserve more. You're with the right people. I wouldn't be here if I didn't love Deni. If I didn't love her amazing spouse who is this iron mountain of support.
He
of
really is.
Smile and caring and does so much for so many we never know. Her daughter, this is what gets me going.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
So, other questions?
Okay, so you guys, you know what? Here's your chance. Now you're getting an inkling of who this man is. Anyone have any questions you'd like to ask Sean? Kathy, yes. If you stand out, you'll be outstanding. Just love being with him. There's always so much wisdom. Tell them while they're thinking about some questions. Every time that we end a conversation, tell them some of the things that you say.
So, a couple of things are, always thank people for their energy. Not for their time, for their energy. You can't give their time back, but you can reciprocate their energy, okay? But one of the things I always ask, if you're going to have a conversation, and it doesn't matter if it's my 14-year-old son who's from the very beginning of when he could communicate, or my bride, or CEOs of, I ask vertices. When we sit down, whenever I sit down with somebody at the end of it, wouldn't it be nice if we could walk away with two things that we as leaders could help them get better at? Does that make sense?
I like that.
So one of the things that I ask is that we've heard of neurolinguistic programming, but there's a way the body operates in order, right?
Okay.
In syntax. So one of the things is I ask two questions. You may want to write these down.
Okay, write these down, you guys.
I'm not a teacher, I'm an awakener. So here's the two questions. What's one thing you learned? And I'm going to ask you to post it in the comments below here. What's one thing you learned from this conversation, this monologue of conversation today? One thing you learned. That's up here. The next question I'm going to ask.
So this morning he asked me that at 6 a.m. and I said, me loving more, MLM. Okay, that was my first answer. Okay?
Now we were on the phone for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
If you're on the phone with a prospect for 45 minutes, wouldn't it be neat to find out the thing that's important to them and not what you thought is important to them?
So important.
See, me loving more, I've been saying it for years. I have the website. But my point is that I would have never imagined that's what Deni wanted.
Huh.
So I'm not going to assume, right? So what's one thing you learned? That's up here. What's one thing you loved from our conversation? See, this is the dessert. If I were to ask every one of you right now, watching this live or the recording, point to the most important person in the room. Do it. Point to the most important person in the room. You're going to go like this. The hand always winds up on the heart. It never winds up on the head. Nobody's taking their shoe off and pointing to their pinky toe. So leave them in their heart.
Oh.
Bring them back to their heart.
I love that.
And they will fall in love with you easier.
Sean.
Whoa! I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm the biggest fork. I will move you.
He does ooze me. Oh my gosh. So you guys, he actually brought some really great data to share today, and he's going to tell you where you can even actually find that.
So one of the things I always love to give gifts, and we love to give gifts. So if you go to languages.seangmurphy.com, you're going to wind up, there's an hour-long webinar. All you do is put your information in. There's no upsell. There's no second sale. But at the bottom of it, kind of hidden, you've got to be somebody who's inquisitive. If you scroll down a little bit farther, one of the things that I love because I've owned industrial businesses. I own 7 different multi-million-dollar businesses in the traditional world, and I had over 100 employees, and one of the things I understood is that I have to be different from my competitors, and the only way I do that is by getting into people's hearts, not their wallets. And so,
guys, that works in our business as well.
Funny how that works. So Harvey McKay has something called the McKay 66. And it's 66 questions where you really dive in. You force yourself to ask questions and develop relationship. Well, I did it for network marketing. 66 questions that if you get them to answer, do you know, I promise you, I could speak to your closest, dearest friend, and in 5 minutes find out more about them than you've ever known about them.
And, the first thing is, what most people start to want to know about their associates is what's your name, your address, your home address, your Facebook. But then he asks some questions that really gets to know people. It's not about, what you are, it's who you are and about them and what makes them excited and passionate and what they love.
See, because if you can develop a relationship that opens them. See, we all talk about, hey, let's close them. I got to close somebody.
I hate that word.
So
I'm not a closer.
Why not be a resource to them that allows them to do more in what they're currently doing so they can do more in what they want?
Oh, say that again.
If we learn to become a resource to allow people to do more in what they're currently doing and allow them to do more of what they want.
Love that.
So things like, what's their biggest concern at work? I promise you, in your network, in this network called Deni, in this network called your company, if you had somebody who's in a traditional business that needed a software that they couldn't find, you ask inside of just your community, you will find somebody that knows exactly that answer.
I agree.
It's time to step out so you can be outstanding. So,
love that.
Little questions. Do you know what their kid's favorite color is? Now, that'd be a hard question to ask. Hey, listen, I'm Sean. What's your kid's favorite color? Probably not the best time to do it, but if you're asking that, it's because you're having a dialogue outside of your business,
right,
but in human relationship. You are all better than you think you are.
We all are better than we think.
I'm better than I think I am. As good as people tell me I am, I still run around with fear and doubt, and I do my best to open the door with faith and courage so they're not there.
Open the door with faith and courage.
Right.
You know, we were just talking about that we're still, not living up to our potential. There's so many more things that I want to be and do and explore and become. That's just so important. Also, let's talk about in those steps, we're going to have to make changes in our life. And We're going to have to be accountable. And he also taught me some things this morning about doing it hourly, even with his team. I love this.
So
you guys are going to start hearing me train on this.
One of the things that's so important is always right. We go to events and meetings for the checkup from the neck up.
Yep.
The challenge is we do that checkup from the neck up once a quarter. We get on a conference call once a week. We go to Facebook all the time, but we're never checking in on us.
That's right.
It's time to just turn that mirror around. So what I share with people and what my mentor taught me some 20 years ago is because now we have technology. And you ask people, so here's 3 questions. We didn't talk about this.
Oh, we need the questions, yes.
So here's 3 questions that if you learn these questions, you will change every dialogue you ever have going forward. Is it okay if I share it with you guys? If it is, throw some thumbs up.
Thumbs up, you guys. Hearts and love. You want this stuff, okay?
So here's the question. First thing is that when we go to sit down with a prospect or our family, or we're going to have a dialogue that needs to develop a solution, we need to find out if we can help each other.
Okay.
So I ask, do I have your permission to help? See, the hardest thing for anybody to do is ask for help.
That's
but
true.
do I have your permission to help you? What happens is if they say yes, I can have a conversation about anything. You understand that? If they don't make enough money or they're not enough, they're time bankrupt.
Right.
I get to ask them more questions about that. But here's the thing, you can't go ask those questions unless you have 2 more questions that are answered. So number 1 is, do I have your permission to help?
Okay.
Number 2 is, do I have your permission to make you feel just a little bit uncomfortable? See, here's the reality. If you're going to go after something you've never had, you're going to have to think a way you've never thought, feel a way you've never felt, do something you've never done. That is the perfect storm of disaster. So if you're going to want to take your business to the next level, can I make you feel uncomfortable? Just a little bit. Because here's the thing, you have to get the affirmative answer to this, because otherwise the meeting's over. I have walked out of rooms with 150 people in it because the CEO wouldn't agree to that.
Really?
I'm not spending another second of my time if you're not ready to do these 3 things. So 1, do I have your permission to help? 2, can I make you feel a little uncomfortable? And I always give them this. If you say yes to this, I promise you're going to love question number 3. Question 3 is, can I take you out of that uncomfortable feeling?
And who doesn't want that?
Now we can have a conversation, not 2 monologues that bump into each other. See, when I start saying something, and you can tell, how many of us have ever had a conversation with somebody, and we could tell they were getting a little sketchy.
Right.
They were getting a little
We've all
agitated.
Felt that. We've
and
felt
I'd say,
that.
listen, remember question number 2? That's the uncomfortable part. Is it okay if I take you out of that? Can we step back? See, in dialogue, there's this pool in the center. And the first person that contaminates it with silence or anger kills the pool, and the dialogue is over.
Wow.
So you have to realize that in this dialogue back and forth, you're feeding a pool. And picture itty-bitty goldfish that are susceptible to anything, and all they can live on is pure love and joy. And the second pure love and joy doesn't show up in that pool, the conversation is over. And at 14,000 words a minute, 233 words a second, we can think and thought, and we can have it. Right now, you're thinking about 17 other things in us. There's 35 people in this conversation. That's just between us.
Wow. Tell them, we talked about that this morning too. Talk about how many thoughts we're having every second.
70,000. So success is a math problem.
Okay.
Here's the reality. Success is a math problem. We have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. How many of us have heard that?
That's a lot.
Throw a thumb up. That's a lot. But it happens.
Did you guys know you thought that many thoughts every single day?
60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Every science will show that. And so here's the challenge. But we're only conscious of 3,000 to 5,000 thoughts.
That's amazing.
So if those were the most perfect thoughts ever, 3,000 versus 70, who's going to win? The challenge is can you have those 3,000 and 3,000 new ones again tomorrow? Well, Sean, I can't do that. So then your only other option is to slow down thought. And that is meditation, that is peace, that is breathing, that is being aware of the love that surrounds you. And when you do that, you can take, Dr. Wayne Dyer says, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change.
That's right.
He said if you can get it down to 20 to 30,000 thoughts, you now have a super huge chance of winning sooner rather than later.
Who wants to win sooner?
So believe in yourself. And the way you can also do this is by physically, not on your thumbs. Our thumbs are not kinesiology,
Right.
that word, right?
Yeah.
The kinesiology of writing, engaging your body. This is how we say prayers. This is how we write books.
Right.
We don't write them on here.
And you were talking about that this morning, the importance of journaling.
If you're not journaling, you want to double your business this year, journal every day. I don't care what you journal about. I promise you will double your business every day. If you journal about what did you learn and what did you like about your day, you will double your business. I don't care what you do. Guaranteed. I'll write you a $10,000 check if you don't do that. But you got to journal every day. That's how much I know it makes a difference.
And if they're just doing those simple things, writing. Again, the guidelines would be for journaling would be just help them get started.
So what did you learn today? Mm-hmm. What did you need to get better at? And what do you need the answer for tomorrow? See, because when you go to sleep at night, your brain's working. And if you ask it, I need to get this tomorrow, you will wake up with an answer. Now, it may not be on day one, but I promise you, the neural synapse and the connections that happen, the brain's looking for that answer all night long. And you'll wake up with these ideas. How many of us have ever went, oh my God, I got an idea?
Yeah.
It's because we slowed our brain down long enough for the dang thing to show up. If you've ever been in traffic, where traffic is bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper, how do you get in on the freeway? There's got to be what? Space.
Got to be space.
If you don't slow down the 70,000 thoughts, if you don't start to take control of them, if you don't start to be more of you, that space won't open up. But soon as it does, you'll have brilliance show up. And when that brilliance shows up, be careful not to reject it. It's not going to happen the first time. You will. We all are. That's how we're programmed. It's why you have this community. It's why you say, I need help. The first time you say, I need help, 99% of your fears disappear.
That's amazing. Well, you guys, thanks for all your comments, recommendations on book. If you guys got some great tips and ideas from my friend Sean today, would you give him some thumbs up and some love? I know that I'm certainly going to go back and write more notes because really I did this for me because I wanted to capture these amazing points and things that he had left me with this morning. So you guys, really thanks for your time.
Ray Higdon says this when you said notes, your notebooks are your uncashed checks.
They really are. But what I always tell people is don't let all these notes and books you have become shelf help, right?
That's what Noah St. John talks about, that shelf help.
Don't let it be shelf help. You know, and I think that one of my greatest strengths that I try to work on all the time is to learn something and implement it. And the faster you can do that, the faster you will get better, you can course correct, and become the best that you can be.
And that's where the course correct is. On every hour check in. Take a breath, look at the thing, and every hour check in. And say, did you move closer to your goal or farther away? And even if you text yourself, send yourself a Y or an N, and look at the end of the day. How many hours of the day were you on track? Do you feel you took one step closer?
A Y or an N. Do you guys get that? And if you if you need someone to be accountable with, even if you had an accountability partner, to check in with each other against once an hour, or but really to do that, I love that compared to thinking of the whole day and going, man, the day slipped away.
90-day programs don't work anymore because we have 9,000 things that are going to happen in the next hour.
So to check in every hour with myself, and of course, am I doing the activities that matter, the income producing activities, or am I doing the goals that I had set for myself last night in my journaling and this morning? So again, thanks for your time, and you'll be learning more from my friend Sean again. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Teresa. You guys. thanks for jumping on. This was a fabulous, amazing thing for me.
Thank you,
you
Deni.
Sean. Bye, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.